Well, I am being told that I have to do our introduction today. We're
I did it
Rob
last
and
time.
Bex. Um,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
th- th-
Uncalled for.
this is what happens when you make me do the intro. Yeah, so
Didn't you
we're.
always do the intro on the ice?
Did we ever really do an intro?
That's actually fair. We did a lot of just like cold opens because we forgot.
We're just cold openers.
We are.
Um, so yeah, this is Rob and Bex, or as everybody else would like to say, Bex and Rob.
Yeah, it's not like we have a poster or anything.
I mean, at least this time we made a poster like right away. We were ready with a poster.
We were. We had that poster done like a month before we finally even got a show recorded.
To be fair, I feel like we basically just used the post that we already had. So
Yes, but I changed it because I said the show is now called Bex and Rob Separated at Last, not
that's
Why Are
true.
They Friends?
That's
And
true.
I put on there, check out their new podcast. Or I can't remember, catch their new podcast? I don't know.
Who knows? Either way, classic poster.
Classic
Uh,
poster.
anyway,
It symbolizes our friendship.
yeah, or lack of friendship.
Or lack of friendship. Yeah.
Mm,
My June I showed it to her and she was like, that photo is perfect. It is perfect because Rob's not mad. He's not angry. He's just done. He's just walking away from you, and you won't let him. And I was like, yeah, that's us.
yeah, I wouldn't say
Rob,
I'm done. I'm just, like I'm over it.
you're just
Like
over it. You're
it
just
doesn't
over it,
bother
and you're
me.
walking
Yeah.
away, but you can't escape.
Just coming up behind. Yep, absolutely. Just yelling at me on that
Yeah,
bullhorn.
drunk Beck's yelling on the bullhorn.
And yeah, it's definitely like we've said. It's a good thing you got rid of it that day.
It's such a good thing.
Terrible plan giving it to me though. That was.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to give it to Hardiman, but he wouldn't talk into it.
He doesn't talk into anything. I mean, he started
Yes,
talking. He started talking more, but he's not a talker.
he's not a talker. I was hoping to change that in that one moment, which,
Yeah.
looking back on it with a more sober reflection, is that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. No. Not much would work with that guy. Anyway, welcome everybody. Welcome to our week. How was your week, Bex? Did you do anything fun? Did you
Um,
stuck in your house?
I'm stuck in my house. Um, I'm doing physical therapy for my shoulder, so like I get to go out every once in a while, and it's
Oh.
kind of exciting. Yeah. Um, and I'm making masks. I'm doing the whole make homemade masks thing, um, purely kind of for entertainment. Um, yeah, and I'm learning to sew with that. I know how to sew a little bit, but my aunt is teaching me more things. Turns out I'm terrible at sewing. I am not Susie Homemaker. I, I am
How many
Susie
masks have you made?
Destruction. Um, like 5 or 6. Turns out the first day I was doing it, I was actually doing it wrong, so I had to undo all of those and then redo it.
Ah,
So that was
s-
fun.
that
Good
sounds like
lessons.
crafting. Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
made a
Yeah.
kids one, and it's so tiny. My heart broke. It was just so cute, and I was like, "It's so." When you think kids things are just like small, and it just gets you. Maybe it doesn't do this to you.
No, there's never been a time where I'm like, oh, those are so adorable because they're so tiny.
They're just like he's just. I see kids things, and they're just so small and cute, and you're just like, ah, you're so cute. There's not even a kid here, and I'm just like, ah, so adorable. Yeah, I have a problem.
I
Um,
mean, you're not the only person that has that problem, so it's cool.
Good. It's not just me. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but yeah, so I've been making masks, and that's kind of occupied my day. Working on a sewing machine from I don't even know what decade, using fabric from the '60s.
oh,
My mom made some really wild pants for herself in the '60s, and still had some of the leftover fabric. So we've got some of that fabric, and just making masks out of it because why not?
you could make bell bottoms instead.
Don't have that much fabric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So how
that's
was your
cool.
week?
It was, I would say, mostly uneventful. I did have to go. I'm still working on trying to get a job at the national park. So
Oh
I had
yeah.
to go do a drug test for that. I had to drive. Um, it turns out there's no testing locations in my hometown. I don't understand why. Um, like there's lots and lots of like medical locations, and I've done them there in the past. It's just like they maybe aren't qualified anymore. I don't know.
Maybe they're just not doing it at the moment because of coronavirus.
Well, even when I came home from the ice, they weren't offering them in my hometown,
Okay.
which is weird. Either way, I had to drive. It was about a 2 hour drive that I went and did for that, which was really nice. It was getting out of the house. I didn't actually interact with anybody other than the people in the hospital, so
Yeah.
um, that was really nice. I got to go see the Olympics actually, which is I love to see the mountains there. Um, that was really nice. Other than that, I got a bass guitar. Um,
Nice. Little
yeah, I
little
just
splurge. Coronavirus pandemic splurge. Treat
yeah.
yourself.
I figure if I'm gonna be stuck in a house, I might as well be able to play some bass and that kind of thing. Plus, I can use it when I go back to the ice again. From what I understand, we're probably gonna be losing more bassists, and we're already short on bassists as it is. Everyone, everywhere, always short on bassists.
Oh,
Um,
sorry. On bassists, not on
yes,
bases. So like
yeah, bassists.
you'll have the
Sorry.
equipment down there. They just
Yes,
don't have the Okay, I got you.
exactly.
I got you.
Yes. So maybe I'll be able to play some music
We can
on the
start
ice
that
next year.
band that we talked about starting
Yeah.
our first season. You were like, I'm gonna learn guitar over the winter, and I was like, cool. Let's make a band next year. And you're like, I didn't learn guitar over the winter.
I mean, I know how to play guitar. I just didn't.
You just didn't want to spend any more time with me.
I
It's
didn't
fine.
work that much harder on it in that sense. uh, so yeah, I got the bass, and I've been jamming out. All my fingers hurt a lot because it's been a while since I played bass.
Yep. Build up those calluses.
Exactly. Luckily, I have some minor calluses because I play a little bit of acoustic guitar here and there.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like, oh, I did some wood burning. Everybody loves wood burning.
Oh yes.
I
Oh
mean, it's really nice on the ice. It's not as nice out here. Like I smell of burning wood, like whatever. It was really nice on the ice, but it's still really fun.
yeah, nice on the ice.
Nice on the ice. It is. I'm sure it's nice on the ice right now,
Yeah.
unless
Oh
you want to
man.
get off the ice.
Yeah, unless you're the people that want to leave the ice, then it's not so
Those
nice.
poor people.
Yeah. Yeah, flights were delayed a week. Everyone, for those of you that don't know, the April flights were just pushed back a week, and hopefully they'll be leaving in starting tomorrow. But it's a harsh continent, so probably not.
Oh, what a place.
Oh
So yeah.
yeah,
Other than that, I feel like there's not been much else going on. Like it's tough to do much when you're quarantined.
yeah, 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 definitely. I was getting a little antsy. Like I would qualify myself as an introvert. I mean, I'm a loud introvert, but like I do best and enjoy life best when I'm by myself.
Hmm.
Um, so at first it was like I was fine, just curl up in my room, watching Netflix all the time. I don't care. And then after a couple weeks, it started getting a little old, and I was like, I want to do something. So I tried doing that exercise thing. I did that twice, and then I haven't done it since.
I just want to clarify. You said that exercising, like, is
Like
there a specific one or just
just
exercising? Just period.
exercising, yeah.
Okay,
I went,
just
I went
checking.
biking. Like I went biking. I like on my same
Oh,
bike that is still functional and like in great condition from when I was in middle school. I don't know how. I feel like that thing should have crapped out. But yeah, my dad, just put a little oil on the chain and did bikey stuff to it. And I went for a 5 mile bike ride a couple times. And then I was like, that was so fun. And it was. And then I haven't done
was
it
it?
since. It was actually. I do really like biking. It's like I think it is
Oh,
a
okay.
I mean, I think it's way preferable to running and I don't know. It feels like fun exercise, except it's still exercise, so I still hate it.
See, I thought your big mistake was choosing the bike because it's
No, my
definitely not a
big mistake was
unicycle.
exercising. Oh yes, there was that weird spare wheel. But the problem is I don't know what to do if I don't have that spare wheel there. Um, because someone didn't teach me how to unicycle.
I,
like they promised.
it sounds like I've broken a lot of promises. uh,
It's fine. You're just full of lies.
well, here for everybody, I promise that I'll get you to unicycle next year on the ice.
Thank you. And then,
You have
oh,
to
but
you have to actually like dedicate some time to it though.
I will absolutely dedicate some time to it, as long
Okay.
as this counts as exercise. Because
I think it absolutely does. Some
good,
of the
then
best
I don't have to
exercise
go to
I've
the
done.
gym.
It's very good cardio.
Oh yeah, that I can imagine. Now, do we need to put mats on either side of me unicycling
No.
so that I don't NPQ myself?
No, I would say you're pretty unlikely to fall.
Okay.
Like you're gonna come off of the unicycle.
You
Um,
know, you know how clumsy I am, right?
so think of this: the unicycle. It has what we unicyclists like to call an unplanned dismount, UPD. um, and
That's called falling.
but wait. The idea is that you know that they're gonna come. You know it's gonna happen, so you're ready to come off the unicycle, right?
So you're just always prepared to fall off the unicycle? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, in the beginning, when you're doing things that you know you might fall, yes, you're prepared to fall off the unicycle. But like if I'm just riding down the street, I'm not prepared to fall off the unicycle
So
because.
what if you do fall off the unicycle, but then you're not prepared for it?
So at this point, I'm well practiced, so I can quickly get into the mode of I'm falling off the unicycle.
I feel like this is gonna end so poorly, and Shelly is gonna get real mad if I hurt myself.
She's gonna hate me.
she's
I
gonna
think
be
you'll be
she's gonna be mad at both of us.
you'll be just fine. I don't know anybody that's ever actually hurt themselves on a unicycle. That's a lie.
It's like,
I
I
am.
don't believe that. I was like, I can very quickly Google and find some video of someone hurting themselves on a unicycle.
I bet you if you did that though, they'd be doing like some crazy trick, like grinding down a rail or something.
Well, that's because no one's going to record themselves on a unicycle for the first time and put it on the internet. That's just,
That's not true at all. I see those videos every single day. I'm part of a unicyclist community, so people
yeah.
post those. Like how do I get better? Because we're friendly and nice, a good community.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like cyclists would also qualify themselves as a good community, just not towards unicyclists.
usually, yeah, yeah. Um. Anyway, we should probably stop talking about unicycles. I mean, I could do it all day, but
I don't know,
I
it
don't.
brings me joy.
I don't think most people want to know anything about it.
Yeah, probably not.
uh,
I've told Rob this before, for those of you that don't know. Um, I told him, I was like, you would be so cool if you had picked, like, if you, because he's a really good, like, I've seen videos that you are a good unicycler. You do some really cool tricks, and you would be qualified as like this super cool person if you had picked like skateboarding or bicycling. If you did all those tricks on like, you automatically would just be qualified as like cool. But yeah, you're not because you picked a unicycle. Yeah, dork.
I was just talking yesterday about how cool it was that I was a judge at a unicycle competition.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
So you got to watch a lot of people fall.
there was maybe a dozen people riding at that point because I mean it's a competition. It's not like everybody's competing.
So we're back to talking about unicycling.
Yeah. Why are we doing this?
I have a great thing for us to talk about. Oh wait, I don't know where it is. Never mind. Where's the panda article?
um. I don't even think.
It. I found it. Okay. So Rob and I were like, for the first time ever, let's slightly prepare our show. Guess what we didn't do?
Prepare a show.
Yeah. It's just not who we are as people. Or at least not who I am. But I did try and find some articles and I found some really interesting ones, but they were all about the pandemic because that's the only thing in the news.
Well,
And
it's
Rob
for the
told me
most
to be
part.
less depressing. So I found this great articles about pandas. So the title is Coronavirus. Pandas mate in lockdown at Hong Kong Zoo after 10 years of trying.
It's a great article. I mean, it's pretty nice that those pandas are actually like humping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, pandas are so hard. It is so difficult to get them to breed. That's why they
Yeah,
usually resort to artificial insemination.
which
But they,
usually doesn't work either.
yeah, it's you have a much higher the chance of pregnancy via natural mating is higher than by artificial insemination. This Michael Booz says in a statement. But the really great part is so panda pregnancies are 10 months, and they can't tell if a panda is pregnant until 14 to 17 days before the panda gives birth. So for
That's
the next
wild.
9.5 months, they're just like, don't know, sure hope you're
Watching.
pregnant. Like,
Yeah. Gosh.
oh, yeah, but I guess they just been struggling for about 10 years, and now they don't have to live with the stress of everyone watching them try to mate. They just get to chill because no one's at the zoos. So, that's my happy news.
That is some
Panda
good happy
sex.
news. It's nice that pandas are, like I said, humping. We got to get more panda
Getting
humping
some.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting more than most people out there these days.
Yeah. I
Uh,
love I've loved all the things I've seen online is, like the whole online dating game, like, or dating apps is all gonna change. Like the
yeah,
landscape of it is because now you have to talk to the person for a few weeks before meeting up with them. Like,
at least a few weeks.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can't be like, hey, let's go meet up. Like, it's you have to talk to them online. I've seen girls be like, get ready to woo us, guys. I just
Uh,
there was oh my god, what was it? There was this guy I think in New York, and he saw this girl
are you talking about
across.
the drone guy?
Yeah, did you see this?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He saw this girl across the street, on like the rooftop of her building, making a TikTok video, or she was dancing like and making a video, and so he took his drone and he like brought his phone number over to her, and they set up this whole date and like did like a virtual date from on like their respective balconies or whatever, and then he went on an actual date with her and put himself in a bubble, and like, and you can see him like he
Hmm,
goes in a bubble and he brings roses but then realizes the roses are in the bubble.
yeah.
It's so great. I have no idea how accurate, like, if
You
how
wonder if
made
it
up
was
it
like, was
was.
this just to get viewers
Yeah,
or?
but I don't care because it was phenomenally done.
It was
It was
great.
great.
Yeah,
It was great.
I laughed a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
something happy in these depressing times. So
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of that going on. I mean, there's lots of people helping people. There's a lot of people doing things like making masks and whatnot.
yeah,
That's it.
you
Uh,
see a lot of like the depressing things and the and not even just about the virus, but the depressing things that come with it. Um, and but it's nice to hear, and I think we do need to know those depressing things, but it's also nice to hear like, hey, there are communities where people are looking out for each other, and you know, people are making sandwiches for these kids that would normally be, oh, their meal comes from school, so,
yeah.
and these communities are making sandwiches for these kids, or yeah, or we're going on ridiculous virtual dates, or pandas are mating.
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I just disabled the Facebook on my phone.
I just yesterday, um, I still have Facebook, but I disabled the notifications. I don't get
Oh,
notifications on Facebook anymore. Um, and honestly, I cannot deal with people's stupidity anymore. I
yeah,
truly cannot. I
there's a bit too
truly
much of it
cannot.
out there. It's definitely tough. Like I've been doing a really good job since I got home, not commenting on things that like obviously what you're saying is not true, and I want to say something and let you know it's not true, but it's like I've just been just holding back, just like not
Yeah,
doing it because it's not helpful. The person doesn't ever want to hear you. They don't want to listen. It's That's not what Facebook is for. As sad
I
as
am.
it is, because it should be something where you could communicate like that. But I've been doing a really good job, and then like in the last week, it was just like, yeah, no, you guys are wrong. Like this is not okay. And it was just like, no, I got to disable this because this is not good for my health.
Yeah, I am not good at not saying something. That is not my
Yeah,
strong suit.
yeah,
I will let you know if you are being dumb. I will glad, and I'll do, and I'm not going to do it and say, "Wow, you're stupid," but I'd
yeah.
be like, "Look, this is the facts," or this is the reason I am going to vote this way in the fall. Like, you know, like with this election, I'm not used to us being able to talk about politics, honestly. um, but in this election, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. And I've seen a lot of people on Facebook say they're not going to vote anymore because Bernie's not the nominee, and it infuriates me. It really infuriates me, and I'm just like, I can't even, I just can't even go there. I had to take a whole day of not even looking at Facebook because I was in tears from just from like genuinely from like people just not understanding the ramifications of this long term of like judges, like the placement, the appointments of judges, and that happened by the president. And I was just honestly losing it, and I had to, like, for my mental health, I had to just, I can't, I have to take a break from it. I was losing it.
Well, and to that point, it's one of those things that's tough for everybody in that sense. Even the people that you're angry at it, like it's tough
Yeah.
for them in that sense where they feel like I'm kind of one of those people that I personally don't think I'm going to go vote for Joe Biden. I'm not going to do it.
Oh,
I'm also, you're lucky I'm from a state where no matter what, we're going to vote Joe Biden in my state. So it doesn't matter
same
anyway.
with California.
So it's not a big deal for me, but there is other people out there where it's a lot more important. But at the same time, it's this concept of, for me at least, I'm not going to go vote for Joe Biden because I don't, I no longer feel comfortable voting for somebody that also doesn't represent my ideals, even if they're better than the other person that's way worse than them. At the same time, that all aside, I also don't think that Joe Biden can beat Trump anyway. So
See, for me, it's going to be one of the two. Like
it is
that's
absolutely,
how our system is set up. You know, we can
yeah.
be pissed that that's how it's set up, but that's how it's set up. It's going to be, you pick. You've got, there's a great article I read, why protest votes don't count or don't matter. Uh, it was, the way our system is set up is you have Republican, you have Democrat, or you have I defer to the judgment of the rest of the country. And that deferring to the judgment is either voting third party or not voting. You are deferring, and you are fine with either Republican or Democrat winning. And for me, it's less about Joe Biden. Not a huge fan of him, to be perfectly honest. But it's less about Joe Biden, and it's more about the people that are going to be appointed and the tone that it'll set in the country. Because, in my opinion, the tone it will set in the country is going to be a lot better than the tone that we currently have. It's going,
Sure,
I
I can't
disagree with him
disagree
on
with
so
that.
many things, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg is very likely going to die in the next 4 years. She is an old, amazing woman, but she is probably not going to survive the next 4 years. And I don't want another Brett Kavanaugh.
Well,
I can't.
sure,
We can't.
yeah,
We cannot have another Brett Kavanaugh.
I 100% agree, but I also I think that the idea that the if you don't vote Republican or Democrat, then you're saying that you're just okay with whoever the rest of the country votes for. I think that saying that is taking a voice away from people. When I say I'm not voting for Joe Biden, what I'm saying is that the Democrats need to do something to make me want to actually be part of their party if they want my vote. And it's not me helping to elect Trump. It's me using my voice to tell a party that I always actually thought I was a part of. It's me using my voice to tell them that they're not speaking for me anymore.
I
And that's
do
a problem.
understand that.
And I can't use that voice if I'm just going along and saying, "Oh no, I can't deal with Trump, so I have to vote for a Democrat." That's not okay to me. It's not okay for me to give my voice to somebody else just because I'm worried about who else might have a voice.
I do understand, but that understand that, but at the same time, it's no one. is going by not voting, no one is going to hear that opinion. I mean, like, it gets lost. Rather than, if you, what we have to do to change the Democratic Party is by by voting, is by and not just
Yeah,
presidential election,
I
but
can
it's by,
still I
the
can write
smaller
Bernie Sanders
elections.
in, or I can write Elizabeth Warren in if I want, and that is a voice that is
But
still
again,
being
if
spoken,
it's being
whether or not
spoken, but
it's
it's not being heard.
and my voice. So me voting for Joe Biden, my voice isn't being heard anyway. So what's the difference?
The difference is, are you okay with Trump being president because of that? And not
I'm
just
not
you,
okay
but
with
people.
Joe or Trump. Is my point. So that's my voice. Is that I'm not okay with either one, and I'm not willing
But we're gonna
to
get one
I'm
of
not
them.
willing to compromise to say that I'm supportive of one of those people.
But we're gonna get one of them. Like, that's just the
That
way it
doesn't
works.
and that's my point is I have to use my voice to say that I'm not okay with that. And that's the only voice I have because again, I'm in a state where my voice voting for Joe Biden doesn't matter. Um,
Yeah,
he's
there are
going
a
to be
lot of
elected in
states
my
where
or
that
he's going to
where
win in
it does
my
matter.
state.
I mean, in California, me not if I didn't vote,
In
it's
in
not
that
gonna do
sense,
much.
it matters in states like ours for us to vote for people that aren't that candidate because
But
they're going to
in
be elected
states, but
anyway.
there are a lot of other states where it's right on the edge. I think Trump won
Those states,
Wisconsin
yes,
by 23,000 votes last
go
year.
ahead
It's like,
and those people, sure, they have a lot more on their conscience than I will ever have in that sense. Um,
for me, it's not even just about me. It's not about Joe Biden. It's about the future. It's not even about my future. It's about, I want to have kids. I want children, and it's if I have daughters, it's about their future and the laws and the judges that we're going to have. It's about the judges for me, and the environmental regulations. Like, you could say Trump and Biden are the exact same people, but Biden's going to put more progressive people, and have more progressive, laws, and help progress, have a more progressive country. And Trump is going to have more conservative views and more conservative laws and more conservative judges. And while I don't like Joe Biden, it puts us in the path of getting to somewhere I like.
I understand what you're saying. I just think that the broken system's broken. So if a broken system's not going to put us on the right path, then I don't. I also don't feel like participating in that system anyway. Um, really, it's one of those. It's really a big problem we have, I think, especially with our generation, where there's a lot of people that feel like me, where we're disenfranchised. We don't feel like we're
Yeah.
part of the system. We're not able to have our voice heard. We're not able to actually participate. And then there's a lot of people like you, which are also it's really tough because you are in a spot where you're worried about tomorrow. You're worried about the future in that sense, which is also very important. We need to worry about that, and we need to
And
use the
I'm also
system that
worried about today.
we
I'm
have
worried
to
about
worry about it.
all of the
Oh,
the
of
laws
course.
going that are trying to restrict my access to my own bodily rights. Like,
I
it's
just mean in that sense of you're worried about the way that the system is affecting us currently,
mhm.
and in that sense, we do have to be part of the system in order to
Yeah, that's and in
affect
my
it in
opinion,
that sense.
you have to be inside something that really that's always made me think is a friend in college, my freshman year roommate. She is Catholic, and with her, views. I was like, I don't understand why you're part of the Catholic Church, and she's like, I can't change it from the outside. I can only change it from the inside. They won't listen to people outside telling them what they're doing, but if I can change people's opinions from the inside by getting to know people, and by, and by changing people's minds, yeah, from the inside, and changing their views and educating them. And so for me, that's always just kind of stuck in my head. It's like, you have to be inside, because when you're on the outside, people aren't going to listen. It's like, it's also why I think it's really important for people actually to stay part of the Republican Party, that are not crazy psychos like Trump, and say, guys, this is not what the Republican Party is about, and change it from the inside.
No, it's a very valid point. Absolutely.
I mean, yours is
I
too.
just
I do
I
understand. I
also
understand being frustrated, and not, and just, it's like this. They aren't listening to me, but.
For me, it's that hard part of even if I felt like I was part of the system, I feel like I can't change it from the inside anymore. Like this system is way too big for us to actually steer anymore. It's I don't know. It's kind of a chaotic period where I'm curious where we'll be in 9 months in that sense because
Yeah,
there's a lot of different changes that are happening right now.
it's going to be really interesting to watch how the elections happen. I mean, you just look at how the primaries have been going, and they've been canceled, or they've been postponed, or Wisconsin had pushed their election, but they closed a bunch of polling places, and they didn't allow extended vote by mail-in ballot, absentee ballot, and so it's going to be really interesting to see how that affects
All sorts of things.
everything. Yeah, all sorts
Yeah.
of things. Yeah. Um, my sister lives in Wisconsin, so that's just why I have
Oh,
Wisconsin on the
well, and
brain.
it's
But
a
yeah,
I mean, that is kind of a big thing that happened in that sense where it is to me it's unbelievably jaw-droppingly like I can't believe they made people go and do this during a pandemic where
yeah,
like
and
like
people that
literally our
ask for
country's been
absentee.
told to stay home and now we're being told to go vote.
Yeah, and I
It's
mean, the
incredible.
people that ordered absentee ballots, even like by the original
Ooh,
deadline, then they gave an extension. They
quick
then
pause
just
here.
didn't even get them.
Um, I got some feedback from one of our listeners
Oh yes.
about our show last week. There's a difference between mail-in ballots and absentee. Absentee would be
Oh,
more like for the military or like us in Antarctica, we would use absentee ballots. These are mail-in ballots where it's a ballot that's made for being mailed in. An absentee ballot is for somebody that's absent from where they're at, where they're voting.
really? I've never.
There is a difference, yes.
Because I mean, like I've always gotten the same ballot. I mean, like, does it look different? Is it just the
I don't
name that's?
I don't know honestly. I couldn't say.
Yeah,
I,
because what?
I
Because
know I get a mail-in ballot in that sense.
I've gotten a. I guess I've gotten a mail-in ballot. Well, so like when I've lived in California, I got a mail-in ballot, but then I would have it sent to Minnesota when I lived there for school. So would that be an absentee, or is it standard?
It depends on how you had it sent to your school in that sense. If you had it like forwarded, it would be your mail-in ballot. If it had been something where you set it up because you're out of state, it'd probably be an absentee ballot. They could look exactly identical too, though.
Yeah, because I feel like then when I moved to New Zealand and then Antarctica, the ballots, the mail-in versus absentee, just always look the same. So I just assumed it. That's really interesting. Thank you,
Yeah,
listener. I didn't know that.
yeah. Can I also just because I also got some more corrections from some of our
Oh, cool.
listeners.
Let's just keep correcting us because
Let's
we're
just
we're wrong
yeah.
about a lot of stuff. People
I
can
can't
correct
wait.
us now.
Yeah, I can't wait for more corrections from this episode because I love being corrected because this one this is about the mezcal and tequila that we talked about last week.
Oh yeah,
Um, where I said that
vomit, pure vomit.
yeah, I said that tequila is made with blue agave and mezcal is made with basically any other agave.
Mm-hmm.
That's true and not true at the same time. I
Oh,
actually got this information from Brad. He said that you can make mezcal from blue agave.
okay.
Um, which seems to be true, but at the same time, there is a law in place that says that you can make mezcal with any agave as long as it's not already um, used for another substance. Like blue agave is something that is used for tequila.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. So according to that law, you can't use blue agave to make
I'm sorry.
mezcal.
There's a law.
Yes, I mean it's like the law that says champagne comes from champagne, or
Oh, sorry.
um,
I'm sorry. I thought you meant like an actual law. I was like,
no, no, no.
what?
I mean, that is a law that champagne has to come from champagne. Like
That's a law. I thought that was just
yeah, no, that's a
like
thing.
the rule. I thought it was a rule, just like not like a law, but like a
It's
rule
not
of
like it's not like an unwritten rule of the road. It's a written rule that is it exists.
what?
Yeah, same with tequila. Tequila has like you can only make it in specific locations. Same with mezcal. It can only be made in specific locations with specific agave. Like tequila also has to have fifty
It's like
percent
Kobe
or more
beef.
agave. Kind of, yeah. Um, so
Whoa!
now the bigger difference, this is why I was really happy that Brad said something because it made me read a little bit more and learn a little bit more. The bigger difference between mezcal and tequila is that the mezcal is really like cooked, like it's a long cooking process, so it actually creates like a smoky taste in the mezcal. So most of mezcal out there is going to be a much smokier flavor than any tequilas that you find. You can find smoky tequilas. I've had some,
Yeah.
um, but uh, yeah.
I'm still caught up on
On
champagne
this
is a
sauce,
law.
can you actually? I feel like you're googling that one right now. Can you?
I'm not,
I
but I'm going
assume.
to.
I assume it is the law, just because this is the law for
Who's
mezcal and
made
tequila.
this law? Like, where is this written? What
France.
champagne law? I
I
don't
mean,
even
that'd be
know
my
what.
guess. I don't know.
I don't even know what to champagne drink law. I don't even know what to Google.
The best part is if you don't know it, somebody will know it and they'll tell us.
Oh wait, I've just found an article that's
Ooh, ooh.
pure. That's probably going to be great. All the title is "The 100-Year-Old Loophole That Makes California." Where's the rest of it? That makes
Oh, because
California
there's
champagne
Champagne,
legal.
California.
I don't know. Um, for a bottle of sparkling wine to be labeled champagne, it has to be made in Champagne, France, produced using the method champonnaise. If that bottle is produced using the exact same method anywhere else, it must carry a different name. Uh, they are codified in national laws, European Union regulations, and international trade agreements and treaties.
See,
When they
yeah,
are broken in even the most tangential ways, lawsuits are quickly filed.
it's pretty crazy, isn't it? Like that's a real thing where you can't make champagne. Well, you can. You just can't call it champagne.
While some sparkling wine producers in some countries may ignore these rules, their bottles could never make it onto a shelf in the EU. Since 2005, the same is true in the United States. And yet, if you've ever seen bottles of bubbly labeled California champagne, what you've seen is perfectly legal. Oh my god, this next line. The loophole that makes these labels legal is the result of a fight that began in the trenches in the First World War, with roots going back to the 19th century. What? Oh
Oh
my god,
boy,
I don't know if I should get into this right now.
I don't think you should. That's a whole article there. Like,
This
who
is a
wrote that
whole
article, by the way? Like, where'd you get that?
vinepair.com. I'm not
Okay.
exactly like, the New York Times or Washington Post, but
I just feel like we should give them a little, you're plagiarizing in a sense right
I'm
now.
super, super plagiarizing. What?
You're plagiarizing. Okay, anyway. So yeah, that's champagne, mezcal, tequila. You're really interested in this
I
whole
cannot stop looking at this. This is insane.
uh, so yeah, those were the corrections I got. I don't know if you got any corrections.
No, I did not. No, I did not get corrections.
I love how much
Ryan thanked us for the shout out.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
Ryan.
that was it. That was it. That was that was all I got. Um, Melanie told us that she was going to be listening to it while baking.
Oh, that's
Um,
such fun. Have you been cooking at all?
I haven't recently, but I was baking. I was making these lemon cookies, and
Mm.
um, we made bran muffins actually yesterday. Uh, what else did we make? My aunt and I made what are they called? Oh, I cannot remember what they're called. They're sort of like ginger snaps, but I mean, no, they're not. No, I can't remember what they're called. They
Your
remind me of
hand
ginger
signals
snaps.
were saying you were making mittens.
I'm
Oh,
talking about it. They,
uh,
they've got some name, and I can't remember what they're called, but they kind of remind me of ginger snaps. Uh,
okay.
but
Mostly baking though.
yeah, mostly baking. I mean, we've sort of been. I mean, we haven't really been like cooking. Like, oh, let's make really fun, exciting meals. But I should because I do enjoy that. I've just been,
Yeah,
I don't know,
I don't
sewing.
like baking.
Well, yeah, I
My
like
parents
baking.
used to bake a lot, and I had to help them as a kid. I didn't like it.
I just like licking the batter. I licking
Oh,
the spoons.
everybody loves that. But like my parents used to make like Christmas boxes for uh
Yeah.
all their friends and whatnot, and so we'd make just probably like 50 loaves of banana bread and just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cookies and all sorts of different things that we'd make for everybody. So we'd spend like dozens of hours in the kitchen every Christmas. And so I grew this extremely large distaste for baking.
Yeah. I I baking used to stress me out because like I'm just afraid of like doing it wrong. Like I just didn't have a lot of experience, so I was afraid of doing it wrong and getting everything wrong, and everything
Mm.
had to be exact, and it was slightly OCD. Like, oh my god, it has to be. You cannot be a grain off. And then now I've gotten older, I'm just like, it's close. There we go. Should and there we go.
Yeah, like I feel like baking is one of those things where it's good to be close, but you don't have to be 100% on because
Yeah,
like
but you with baking, you need to be more accurate than with cooking.
oh
And
sure,
I'm
100%,
yeah,
100%.
it's. I mean,
Um,
baking is a lot more of a science, and cooking is more like a art.
it is definitely like it's gotten to the point where you can't really measure your flour with a cup anymore. You have to like weigh it.
Yeah, which gets it more accurate. I mean, I've
Oh, it
always been
does.
told like that's kind of the preferred method for baking, but yeah. Some exciting food news. So
Oh,
I've never been one of the. I'm like the only Californian probably ever who does not like avocados, and that has changed as of 2 days ago. I've discovered that I enjoy. You know, I mashed up some. Well, I ate it because my mom made it, and I was like,
okay.
"Can I just try that?" I like to just try it every once in a while. I'm like, "Do
Yeah.
I still not like this?" You know, has my taste changed? Have my taste changed? And she just smashes it up with a little garlic salt, and I was like, "Oh, well, you just made it perfect when you put garlic salt in there." And so, and now I just love it. It's just delicious. So I'm like, "Oh, I can be one of those basic people that has avocados and everything." But I am actually excited because it's a pretty like healthy food. It's a
Yeah.
good, it is a good food to. And so I've always been a little bummed. In New Zealand, I was not bummed at all because it's like $7 for an avocado. It's
Oh gosh.
stupidly expensive. Yeah, and they're terrible from what I gather. Like the avocados in New Zealand are always just kind of meh. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is great. You know, now I can. I'm in California where you can get five of them for $2, and
Penny.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
gosh. That's
and
nice.
asparagus. I now like asparagus because again, garlic salt.
Oh yeah.
Drench it in
Garlic salt
olive
makes
oil and
everything
garlic
better.
salt. It makes everything great.
Oh yeah, so much better.
So quarantine has expanded my palate.
That's good.
Maybe garlic salt has.
Maybe I should try. So I try to do that too with things that I don't like. I'm like, let me try that again because maybe my
Yeah.
palate's changed, whatnot. I did it on the ice with the tuna,
Oh,
um, which probably wasn't a good idea. I assume the
the
tuna's not
tuna or
great.
the tuna?
No, 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 real tuna.
Real
Like,
tuna, not the tuna.
yeah, not
What
the chickpeas.
is that
um,
what's made of? Oh God, I had no
yeah,
idea.
yeah, it's basically like a hummus wrap.
Oh,
Um,
why can't they just make a hummus wrap and stop trying to call it fake tuna?
because that would make sense. Because you know how many people don't have any idea what it is, and they're like afraid because it's like I'm not
Because
a
they
tuna
spell
fan,
Toona, and I'm like, what is in there?
right? Like why would you call it a tuna? Like anyway. Yeah, I tried some of that. It was like the brunch tuna. Um, and probably a bad choice to try ice fish, but
I don't go near, and it's not just Antarctica, but like I really don't go near fish unless I'm on the coast of
I don't go
literally
near fish even on the
anywhere.
coast.
I
Oh,
actually
I hate fish.
don't tend to in California, but I'm on the East Coast. Like there's like I'll go more for fish. Or if I'm in San Francisco, I know they've got a really good seafood there area there. But like I don't know, I'm just super not trustful of fish. When I lived in Minnesota, no way did I go near that lutefisk. No way. And in Antarctica, you could not pay me enough to go near their weird.
Oh,
And I know it's all just frozen, packaged, deep fried, whatever. But it's just no.
it's
No.
yeah. don't like the fish down there. Like I don't like fish anyway. I just don't. I don't like seafood. But I really don't like the fish down there.
Well, if you don't like seafood anywhere, then you probably are not going to like the fish.
Oh gosh, it's just every once in a while I gotta try it. Like salmon is one that salmon's a weird one for me actually. Um, like I like salmon
Hmm.
in like a salmon wiggle, like a salmon in pasta.
Hmm. Oh,
Um, like with maybe some Alfredo. I love that. Love it. Um, I hate salmon. Otherwise, I don't. I like.
I would never put salmon in a pasta, but we have this, and it's this some like flour like dill herb thing that we get. It's just like local, like nearby. We can get this like fish seasoning, and that's
Mm.
just like the only like we put that on our salmon, and that's kind of the only way I like salmon. It's really not seasonings for me, but but I really, I would never be able to put salmon in like a pasta. I think even salmon in restaurants actually, even without that seasoning, salmon in restaurants I can go for, but it has to just be salmon. Like I can't do it in pastas or. Have you ever
I
had
think
tuna
actually.
fish in pasta?
Yeah.
That I had never heard of that or thought of that until I was living in New Zealand and I see all these Brits doing it and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You
Oh,
crazy people.
most
And
of how
it
I've
is
done
just
it is
meat,
like in a
right?
bake,
Oh, like a
like
bake.
a pasta bake. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and I'm just like, but I just threw me, and they're like, well, it's like you put chicken or you put beef, and it makes sense when they explained it that way, but I still cannot. I just
it's
can't.
right.
I just cannot. I can't. Like, I don't know.
It feels
Something
funny.
about something about fish and pasta is just weird.
Oh, actually, to me, actually, I think in pasta is the only way that seafood really is good to me. Like,
Yeah,
one of my favorite meals that I've ever actually had. Like, I hate my my least favorite of all seafoods is shellfish. And there was one time I got a pasta that came like it was cooked with shellfish.
yeah.
I don't know why I would get this at a restaurant. Like I don't know what happens in my brain at restaurants sometimes where I'm like, that sounds interesting. It's got a bunch of stuff in it that I hate, but I'm gonna try it. Um, so I ordered it and I pulled off all the shellfish because it came with the shellfish and I gave it away and whatnot. But the pasta itself was by far like the best thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah,
I loved it and I just wish I could have it again. And I'll never
yeah.
touch it with my mouth again. But
I'll never touch it with my mouth.
it was
Oh,
not intentional.
look, it's I've been
Mm,
squeaking again.
oh gosh. Oh,
Oh man,
so yeah, that's
these are our food adventures.
yeah. Gosh, I love food. What did you
I
eat for
do.
breakfast this morning?
Bacon,
Oh,
some OJ, and a
mm,
bran muffin. We've got a recipe for bran muffins that my mom had from back from her college days. There was this woman off campus, this who was like in her 90s by the time my mom got there, and my uncle and my aunt lived, in one of the rooms in this woman's house
mm.
while going to college there, and she would just play cribbage all day, and she would just always have baked goods. And one of these things was bread muffins. Her name was Daisy Moses, and at Carleton College in Northfield, Minnesota, you could always go and you could go get fresh. Like there was always cookies, there were always muffins, there were just yeah. So we have these recipes from that, and that's where these brand muffins come from.
I
So they
like
kind of
bran muffins.
they're not just like brand muffins for us; they're kind of special. And I never knew her, obviously, but it's special for the family.
I do get that. My parents do whoopie pies. Um,
Yeah.
and they're special because like I don't actually like whoopie pies and I don't understand why most people would. But not the point. Uh, the reason my parents love them, I think, is like when my dad was a kid, him and his friends used to go to my grandma's house, his mom's house, and they'd just stand outside and would just chant We want whoopie pies. We want whoopie pies. And they would just chant it from the sounds of things for like an hour straight before she finally was like, screw it. I'll make them whoopie pies.
Persistence is
Mm.
key.
Yeah, like, can you imagine just a bunch of kids just standing outside your house just chanting like that?
You want whoopie pies.
Mm.
Whoopie
Yeah,
pies is just such a weird name.
I think I had some while I was on the ice, and I think they're different than my parents. Like, my parents make their whoopie pies with Crisco, um,
Hmm.
which I'm not a Crisco fan. There's ways to use it, I'm sure, but like in the whoopie pies, when you eat the whoopie pie, your whole mouth becomes coated with Crisco.
Ugh.
Yeah, like it's got that feeling in it, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, the whoopie pies taste great, but I don't like that feeling. And I think on the ice, we don't have Crisco on the ice, so they use something
yeah.
else. Um,
I don't
and
think
they
I ever
taste
really.
very similar.
The whoopie pie has like cream in the middle, right?
Yeah, it's almost like two like
See,
cookie brownie type things with cream in the
with
middle. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. See, this is the great thing about being lactose intolerant. For the most part, it's actually a pain in the butt on the ice because they put dairy in everything. Like let's
yeah,
put cheese in everything or some cream sauce. But they also do that with the desserts.
yep.
So it kind of forces you to stay away from them, which is really nice. I hear great things about these desserts, and I'm like, yeah, that's just a terrible idea for my intestines, and and terrible idea for my pants fitting. So it is kind of nice that they load everything up with dairy in the dessert section.
It
So
is.
I don't tend to have those
Yeah,
whoopie pies or those all those different cakes or pies and stuff that they have.
there's generally only one thing that pulls me into that bakery section, and it's when they have the word lemon on anything. Like
Exactly.
lemon
Lemon
anything.
anything.
I'll take it. Yep.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't. I'm sure I miss a lot of lemon stuff because I don't even look at that thing. Like it does not exist in my mind at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I really just kind of walk past it. But if I see something vaguely yellow or I
Hmm.
see the word lemon, I go look and I'm like, is it lemon? Nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
if somebody's like, "Oh, this lemon whatever is really good," I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be back."
Oh, they had. I think it was walnut fudge. They had it a couple times
Oh
towards the end of the
yeah.
year. Or those Buckeyes. Those
Yep.
Buckeyes will draw me in. My
Yep.
roommate would just. He would just eat them by the dozen.
They're
He,
hard
he
not to. They're so good.
Ian loved them. I would just get kind of full on them. Like I wouldn't even be full, but I would just like it's like overly rich, and so
Yeah.
I'd only be able to eat a couple. But oh man, he loved those Buckeyes. So I would just always bring them. I would bring him a bowl in case he was like if he was like on shift that day out at station out at Willie, and I knew he wouldn't be home and he might miss him, so I'd bring him a bowl and he would just go.
This is exactly why that section doesn't exist to me. Because if there's Buckeyes there, it's like, oh, there goes, you know, 1,000 calories in 2 seconds. Oh, there's 10,000 calories in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I just ate my whole month's worth of food. Gosh.
Oh, oh, McMurdo. Ugh. Oh,
What a
the real problem for me was last year, Bill bringing up those desserts, and then Shelly kept the tradition going this year, and it was like bringing up all those pastries in the morning, and it's so hard to ignore them when they're in your office. Like I can easily ignore them when they're just down there. Like I've got
right?
breakfast. I get to the office and they just sit there, and I'm like, God, I want that disgusting looking cherry turnover that's been frozen for 10 years. Like I want it so bad.
I can ignore them all day out at Willie, but yeah, in the office, it's like,
The office is
yeah,
so
I'll sit
hard.
down and have a cookie, no
But then
problem.
but then when I was on nights, it became like a so like when I was on nights, Shane was the one who would bring up the desserts in the
Hmm.
morning, and it was so he because he started at 5, so at like quarter to 5 he'd bring them in, and on the days that Ryan was not there, and which was usually when all the shit hit the fan and it was like the most stressful day ever, and I'm sitting there trying to like figure out how like we're gonna pick up like planes and people and transport crews when we are doing a change of staff, and I'm just like and so I just would like stress eat those like all the desserts. I would just like stress eat it and just be like, I'm like, please make it stop.
Every once in a while, I would wonder where all of our stuff went. Like, did nobody bring
Thursday
anything in today?
mornings. It was Thursday mornings. Thursday mornings, and it would be the end of my shift, and I would have had a stressful night, and I would just stress eat them.
Oh
I think
god.
Lance was worried about me a little bit.
I feel like Lance was worried about a lot of us in shuttles. Shuttle shutout.
Shut up. Oh
Uh,
gosh.
I miss Lance.
I do
He's
too. Lance, I don't know if you listen to this, but we love you, buddy.
yeah.
Lance brought so much joy to like the whole shuttles team, but like specifically the first half of the year on nights. I mean, he brought me a lot of joy and made my whole first half of the season a lot better than it was going. And he was just his humor was just oh
I
so
really wish
good.
I had been there in the beginning of the season and been able to go on nights.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We Lance called us the night orphans.
And
And it was great. Lance has a really great sense of humor that just you
he's
can't
quick
help but laugh.
too.
He's so
Yeah.
quick. So we're just gonna wax poetry about Lance now.
I could talk about Lance all day and how great he is. And Laredo too. Like
Oh my
uh
god, Loreno. Oh, I love him. Just
yeah.
like oh,
Those
bless
two are
bless
amazing.
those two beautiful humans.
Gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well we should stop, having crushes on our coworkers.
No. I feel like it's a good thing to have a crush on your coworkers because that just means you had great coworkers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not you
Oh
though, because you're a terrible
well,
coworker.
no, of course. I would generally
Lazy,
avoid the office with you in there.
lazy, terrible human who just decided I'm not going to show up until like a month after the season starts.
Month and a half.
Was it a month and a half?
Oh, I was only a month late, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god.
gosh,
Oh,
honestly, in some ways, it's probably good. Like, it's good and bad. Where like I got extra, way more stress than I needed because I was late.
yeah.
But at the same time, it was probably good that I got a little extra time off the ice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
was
mean, you
kind of
spent
ready
the
to get out
entire
there.
winter there and the
Yeah.
previous summer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I definitely I think it was good, but I also was like, where's Rob? Rob? Where's Rob?
I'm also
Rob come, Rob.
I'm also ready to go back right now. Like, if I could go back right now, I would.
I'm
100%.
ready to spend a bit more time in summer just because I
Oh,
don't get that. I mean, you didn't, I guess, last year either because you were there all
I,
winter.
I was just thinking about that yesterday, actually. How you haven't seen like a real summer in years.
In like 2 years or so. So I did, yeah, I did New Zealand winter, Antarctic summer, New
New
Zealand winter,
Zealand.
Antarctic summer, and now we're here. So
So
yeah, two
it's been
years.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a New
Well,
Zealand summer before that, and a New Zealand winter, but I had a proper New Zealand summer.
I mean, in
Um,
that sense, it's been 3 years. You missed 2 summers.
when did I last have summer? It was 2017 to 18.
Yeah,
So it's been 2 years. 2 years. It's 2020.
to 21.
No, but I mean because summer in New Zealand was like summer finished. Let's say like February 2018. So I had that summer.
Oh, you got summer in
I got a
New
summer in New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
didn't know
did.
that.
I did a New Zealand winter, a New Zealand summer, New Zealand winter, Antarctic summer, New Zealand winter, Antarctic summer, and now we're here.
I'm
Yeah,
on board now.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah, yeah. So it's only been 2 years since, and it was a really good summer. Like it was. Oh god, I have to do. It was Celsius. We got like average of like high 20s, so like low to mid 80s. And then there was a week in end of January where it was like 35, which is like
Yeah.
mid to high 90s is like
Yeah.
just solid, and it was brutal but amazing.
I'm
Um,
actually starting to get the Celsius to Fahrenheit like in my head.
it's
Like, I got it.
it's you can. I mean, what I did is what my friend actually taught me was benchmarks. So
Hmm.
61 Fahrenheit is 16 Celsius. It's was it 82 Fahrenheit is 28 Celsius, and you kind of just learn, put so 0 and 32, 5 is about 40, 10 is about 50, 15 is about 60, 20 is about 70. It's rough,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it gets you, 37 is 98.6 body
Hmm.
temperature. So yeah, you learn those benchmarks, and from there you just kind of have an idea. What really screws me is the negatives. I get kind of lost in the negatives.
Yeah, it's are weird because I'm not good with the math on it, but I do know that negative
Yeah,
40 is negative 40.
yeah. -40 is -40. 11 Fahrenheit is -11 Celsius,
Oh,
um, approximately. I think
yeah.
0 Fahrenheit is like -18 or 20 Celsius, something like that. So it's
I
yeah,
think
it's
yeah,
just learning those benchmarks, and then you kind of get it, which helps.
totally.
But yeah, it's a weird
No,
one. But yeah, so this is my first proper summer, and I'm super super stoked to
yeah,
experience
I bet.
summer in a long time.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready
Yeah,
for it for
but
sure.
I am like still like excited to go back down. Like I can't wait for this next season, and I'm
Yeah.
praying and hoping and fingers crossing that it happens.
Yeah, you're right. Everything is kind of it's everything is crazy right now.
Yeah,
Like the
we'll
world
just
is upside down.
yeah.
Oh,
That just made me think
how's
of Hamilton, the
how's
musical.
Quarantineville in California going?
Pretty good. I mean, the whole area we are. I think we're on a. We can see the effects of the shelter in place now.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we're on kind of a plateau. I believe. Don't quote me on that because I'm actually not positive. Um, but things aren't too bad in this area. We're also in an area with a lot of hospitals, so and a lot of like medical personnel,
Yeah.
and I think and a lot of people. This is a much wealthier area than other places, so a lot of people can afford to stay home, and their
Hmm.
jobs have been doing that. Like you know,
Work from home and
Stanford has been. My friend works with Stanford Business School. She's been home since like March, since like early March, I believe.
wow.
Before they kind of just decided to start working from home earlier. Um, yeah, so it does help. But and I think Stanford. I heard that's. I'm not positive. I heard Stanford was doing this test, this study of 35,000 people because they've got these antibody tests. So they're trying to get a sense of what of the population is actually immune.
Oh,
So they just took 35,000 people, and they got a certain number of, if you've had you had coronavirus, and you because you had tested positive, you think you had coronavirus but didn't get the test, you were exposed to someone but tested negative, were never had any symptoms but never tested, all these various different levels of
yeah.
what people might have had. And so they did that recently. So I don't know how long it'll take for us to see that. I imagine they'll get it out as quick as they can. Um, but yeah, I think they're just trying to look at like what our herd immunity kind of looks like for if we did open things up, or can these people that are immune go back out and work again, things like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, and I just heard something. I don't. I mean, I don't. I didn't see anything, and I don't know how true this is, but I heard that they have found some people in China that have gotten uh, recontracted the coronavirus
I
after.
I have heard that before. Yeah, it was like someone. I've heard that even in the states. I feel like it was like someone was released. They were healthy, and then they, you know, 2 weeks later they caught it again or something like that. I can't remember exactly. That's hearsay, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is we just don't know how long the immunity lasts, or like what
Well,
is
and
it? Is
there's
it
so
like
much we don't know.
chickenpox? Is it like is it like
Yeah.
the common cold? Like
There's
yeah,
so many things about it that we don't know yet, which is also I think it's tough for. It's been kind of tough for me in a sense. I'm sure it's tough for other people too, where it's like we want answers for things, but it's like this test that they ran that you're talking
yeah,
about. Um, we won't have any information from that for some time because it takes a while to
to process
analyze
that.
that data and figure anything
Yeah,
out from it. And you don't want to, especially with science and especially with something like this where it has real impact on lives, like people's lives. You
yeah.
don't want to say something like, "Oh, hey, this malaria drug or whatever, this works,"
Yeah, or
because
this
that
lupus drug
kills people.
that takes this
Uh,
that malaria drug is like they've done studies that I can't remember hydro whatever chloro I can't remember what it's called, but they've done studies on it, and they're like at best it might mildly help. One study said that it would mildly help The other
Yeah.
studies all say it does nothing. At worst, you will have severe complications from taking this drug, and it'll kill you. Like,
This is also possibly hearsay, but I have heard that um, our president owns or is has a financial stake in the company that
not surprised.
creates that
I'm
drug.
pretty sure he had a financial stake in the tests. The the reason we didn't take the WHO test is because we wanted to use a U.S. company or whatever to
Hmm.
make new tests that didn't work. But the president had a financial stake in them.
Did he really?
He had a financial stake in the company that made tests, and I think it was one of his friends' businesses or whatever like that. And it's like we
Yes.
got so behind in testing because of that. If we had just taken the WHO tests and produced them,
I
we
feel
would have
like
done a
there's
lot
a lot
better.
of things that we're behind on because of money.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's not because we lack money, it's because we want more money. We need more
yeah.
money.
Well,
Money.
and they passed that relief bill, the CARES Act or whatever they
Hmm.
called it. And who knows when we're going to see that $1,200 check? Who knows when we're going to see that $600 every week in unemployment? Like people
Yeah.
still don't have it. It's it's
I've actually read that some people are starting to get that $600.
are they?
And I have read that they're from the sounds of things, they're planning to have that check sent out probably next week or the week after that.
But it's going to take a while to send it out to everybody. I mean, like it's
Well, most of us should get it relatively quickly. It's those people that don't have direct deposit that'll take
yeah. What I
some
don't
time.
know is so like I've been on filed for unemployment, a month ago,
Yeah.
and my claim was still my claim from last year. They just automatically opened that one up to work on it, but it just finished. I have no more weeks now as of
Hmm.
April 4th. But uh, on the website, they're making it sound like I should just keep requesting payment every 2 weeks, but I can't anymore. It says you can't request payment because you've run out of weeks. So it
Oh,
looks like I have to file a new claim.
yeah.
But I'm not sure. Every time I try and call, I mean, I totally get they're busy, but every time I try and call,
Well,
I
it's also tough.
I can't even get a hold of, I can't even get online in a
Yeah.
line for to talk to someone.
Well, it's tough in the sense of like the states are having to implement this when it's
Yeah,
something that they didn't. It's all of a sudden like, hey, here's a bunch of extra work, which is never easy to
but do it
implement,
from
especially
home
for the
because
state.
you're not allowed to go to work.
Well, and for millions more people than you would normally be doing it for,
Yeah, I
too.
think we're at like 16 million, 16.6 that are now filing for unemployment or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. And they're used to like 350,000 a week tops.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you look at the New York Times had, and this was only when it was 3.3 million, but the New York Times had a great graphic, and it was just like unemployment for the past 20 years, and it goes like this, and there was an increase after the
Oh
the,
yeah,
the 2008 recession, and then it goes back down, goes back down, goes back down, and then whoom, and it's just like
all the way at the top.
it's not just all the like it is just
Oh
like
yeah,
it's just ridiculous how like they hadn't even hit half a million before, and all of a sudden we're at 3 million, and now we're at 16 million. It's truly remarkable.
it's a very scary concept. Where like I've personally, I'm a person that's kind of been waiting for a lot of unemployment due to automation and things like that. Like to me, it's something that's coming. To me, it wasn't something that's going to happen overnight. Where all of a sudden, like it's 16 million, that's what are we like 30% of our country almost? No, that'd be a
No,
hundred, something like that.
there's no
Jeez.
there's 33. That's half of California though. California
Yeah,
has like
that's
33
a lot of
million or something like
people
people.
out of their job.
Yeah. We're like 330, 350 million people. I don't know, we can look this up.
Yeah,
But I believe California is like mid 30 million people.
but we're getting almost a 10% unemployment rate in that sense for
Or 327.2 million people
in America.
in the US.
Wow, 327.
Yeah, 327.
It's
Do you
less
want to
than
do
I
the
thought it
math on
was.
that?
No, that's all right. Do you?
No,
What's
God, no.
what percentage?
No, we're not doing this anymore.
Oh, anyway, I think we might be coming to the end of our show here.
Yeah, we've hit an hour and 10. I just realized we've just kind of been we were trying not to go super long like last time because we're like, oh, people don't want to listen to us talk that much.
But I like to listen to me talk, so it's hard to stop.
Yeah,
Uh,
we know you love the
anyway,
sound of your own voice.
yeah, it's what happens when you look like me.
Yeah.
Uh,
That beard's coming along great, by the way. I'm so
Thank
happy you're
you.
growing your beard back. I don't
It
care
feels
what
nice.
anyone else says. I love your beard.
I'm not gonna lie, this is the longest I've gone without like trimming my mustache. Like normally it starts to get in my mouth and bothers me, and I've just
Yeah.
been like wildly lazy, and so it's like I feel like a person in McMurdo, like where their mustaches go over their mouth.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, that's great.
yeah. But please don't trim it. I like it. Keep it.
Thank you. I'm just working it. Just
You're
working it.
welcome. Virtual high five.
Psh.
I think we both made a noise. Well, on that
Anyway,
note, ladies and gents,
yeah, if
and
you made it
everything
this
in
far,
between or
thanks for
outside of,
listening. We'll see
well,
you next week or something like
yeah.
that.
And we both have sound at the end of this recording, too, so we should really
Yay!
stop while we're ahead.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.